Hello, welcome to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We are home of the new streaming network.com, which is Going Bold and Going Solo. And today we're on Going Solo, Goodreads Author's Corner, Meet the Author. And we have our wonderful author right here with us today, Jason Weiss. Hey, Jason.
Hey, Cece, how are you?
Oh, it is great being here with you. I am Cece Shatz. I'm the fondly called the Doyenne of relationship building. And I love the author's corner because I like getting down into why the authors have written the book that they write. And so your book here today we're going to talk about, I love it. It's Shit They Never Taught You in Law School. So, I mean, we have this conversation a lot in our household about what education and what we do with the education. It's like I often think they need to take a year and teach them life. This is going to be life, what you're going to do in life, and then the other stuff. But tell us a little bit about your passion, why you decided you wanted to write a book like this, and who are you targeting for this type of book?
So I think my passion in life is my family, first and foremost.
Mhm.
Secondary is helping people. I truly, I like to help people. I like when people ask me questions, hence why I have a company called Ask Jason Weiss, and people can ask me questions because I like to answer it, and not like the typical attorney. I don't want to say, "Ooh, I answered your question, point three, Bill." I just like I like it. It's good, and friends, family, and clients call me the non-dirt bag. You can change dirt bag around a little bit, attorney, because I do like to help. The motivation behind the book is basically twofold. Number one, it was laziness. And number two, it was getting the message out there. When I say laziness, during COVID, I thought I was going to be like everybody else on the planet and go ahead and offer up a course, a presentation, a this, and a sell a package. And as me sitting through all these courses that are self-guided, or I sit there and there's all these PDFs, I'm like, I don't want this, right? I just want to speak to the person. I want to get to the root of things. I want to do it. So I stopped with the course because I didn't want to make the PowerPoints and do the presentations and go through the slides and all of that. And I took all the information that I was gathering and I started writing a book.
Mhm.
And it just morphed into my book, which is, Shit They Never Taught You in Law School, the survival guide to navigating the law. And I found myself writing at times where my brain needed to be tricked into thinking it was still working. So what does that mean? It means that if I was sitting on a plane, I started writing. If I was sitting in a lobby of a hotel because I was doing a lot of lacrosse traveling, I was writing. If I was sitting in an airport, I was writing. And it allowed me to pass the time. It allowed me to be distracted and allow my brain not to turn off and not do legal work. And this is, like you and I have talked about in the past, just something that the stuff they don't teach you in law school, right? You could learn all about the UCC and contract law and breaches and demand letters, but until you put it into play, you don't know what you're doing. And one of the things that I can say I took advantage of at the University of Miami, where I went to school, was the Lit Skills program, where I got to actually work at the the public defender's office for a little while, and see what it was like to go into court, to interact with judges, to write demand letters. Then I interned for various different attorneys, and I got to see what it was really like. And I knew right away I didn't want to do criminal law. I didn't want to do family law. So that just all of a sudden narrowed, like, I want to do law. Now I've narrowed it down even more. And it was a great learning experience. And that was the goal of the book, to just say, hey, look, you went to law school, you're in debt, you're not thrilled with what you're doing. Don't worry, you're not alone.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So what type of law do you practice?
So I consider myself a a fractional general counsel. I know that I had trouble spitting that out. So basically, I work with anywhere from 5 to 15 clients at any point in time, and I will handle whatever they need. A speeding ticket for a spouse, all the way up to a massive class action lawsuit. I handle it all, And if I can't handle it because I'm not well versed enough or I'm not admitted in a jurisdiction, I
Mm-hmm.
bring in another attorney and I work with that attorney. And so basically, clients can just pick up the phone and call me and not have to worry. Jason's billing me. Jason's billing me. No, I'm not. Yeah, it's a set fee. It's a flat fee most of the time, or a reduced hourly fee, and you can ask your questions away. So when you pick up the phone call, instead of, I already signed this, can you help me? It's, hey, before I sign this, can you help me? Because it's going to cost you the same no matter what.
Right, right. Yeah, that's very interesting because that's, I think it's a little bit different than a lot of attorneys out there. What you do, a set fee, which is kind of unheard of. But I mean, going back to your book, because I actually read your book and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed your book because, being the business person, there was a lot of aspects of your book that I could relate to, that I could honestly understand. And I think that you don't learn that when you are in school. You don't learn some of these skills. They're kind of like the hard knocks, right? You
Yep.
have to kind of learn along the way. And I think, being an attorney, I mean, those out there, if they don't realize, and maybe just share with us to be an attorney, what does it take? So you go to law school. How many years do you go to law school? Then you guys have to do internship, right?
No,
Until like
you don't.
you
That's
don't
part of
anymore.
that's part of the problem with law school. Unlike medical school, where you have to do your residency and your rounds and
Mhm.
you're getting hands on, you do not need to do it. Now, do
Right.
they have offers and do they have opportunities for you to do it? 100%. Should you take it? Absolutely. Even if you want to go into corporate law, but the only thing you could do is a clinical at the juvenile justice system or the state attorneys or the public defenders, do it. It shows you, because you never know. I went to law school wanting to be a sports agent. I really didn't get that opportunity. I worked for the Department of Justice for the immigration court while in law school.
Right.
So I got to see all this stuff. But yeah, it's high school, 4 years of college, 3 years of law school, and then you're on your own. And literally, like, on your own, like, here you go. And now with COVID, most of the time it's here you go, and you're remote. How do you ask questions? How do you get answers? So it's not easy. It's really not. And the book was, yes, my target audience would be people that want to go to law school, or people that went through law school, or people that graduated and they're practicing and, oh my God, did I make a mistake? What am I doing? But like you said, it's not just for lawyers. It's for anybody in the business world, anybody in the marketing world, anybody in the tech world. There are pointers and there are things that could be picked up and used. And I'm actually I've already started volume 2, which will probably be called More Shit They Never Taught You in Law School. And it'll be something like, the book not just for lawyers, because I want other people to actually read it.
Yeah.
The funny thing was, I was going to call it The Shit, and I decided not to, because I can't get that in one book. It would be like an encyclopedia, Britannica, 100 volumes of all the stuff they didn't teach you.
Yeah. Well, I know we probably always want to stick that "the" in there, and we're really bad. But you also you did the narration of this yourself, which is I thought was very good. You did a good job on that, to which made me kind of wonder, did you write the book, in audio and then in writing, or you wrote it
No.
in writing form and then made it an
So
audio book? Okay.
there are companies out there, and no discredit to them, that'll sit there, they'll write the book for you, they'll ghostwrite it for you. I did it all myself. I did use a company. It was called the $1 Million Author, and they did a great job. And Steve did a phenomenal job, and his team did great. But I wrote the book. They helped edit. They helped design the cover. They helped with the artwork. They helped get it out. So that was great. So I'm not officially self-published. I used a company to help me. And then, we got it on Amazon, and I was fortunate enough to become a bestseller, and no looking back. I loved it. It was so relaxing, and I felt so accomplished when I was done.
Yeah, I really liked the book. I mean, also what I liked about it is that you also did reference to your family throughout the book, throughout the entire book. You talked about your father, you talked about your wife, your kids, all of them that inspired you throughout your entire life, doing everything that you do. And I love the a lot of the practical information that was there. And that's why I said I read it and I thought, well, I listened to it because I did the audio on everything I always do. But I thought, man, this is a really good book, and which I can see why you're a coach, because not only are you an attorney, but you're also a coach. You coach other attorneys and whatnot. And so, yeah, so I can definitely see that flavor in your book. And so, yeah, kudos to you, because I think you did a super good job with it. I really enjoyed it. So let's talk a little bit about the book itself. So I do have some of the chapters up. And was there a particular chapter that you liked writing in the book, or that stands out for you?
I maybe chapter 11, you be you, what works for others may not work for you. And that one hit me close to home for a couple of reasons. You be you is something that my daughter started, I think, pre-COVID. It was just her thing. She was always like, you be you, be comfortable in your own skin, do what makes you happy, do what you think is right. And that's what I hone in on. You need to do what you think is right. And there's a quote from Mark Twain that I put in here, that you're never wrong for doing the right thing. And what you think is right for you as a human being and what I think is right for me as a human being may not be the same. But at the end of the day, if I think I did right, and another chapter, which is, what would your mother, your rabbi, or your priest say? If they gave you a thumbs up saying that you did right by them, then it's all good. And at the end of the day, if you could look back and you could say, look, I wish I did something different, right? That's human nature. But you know what? I gave it my shot. I did it the right way, and I feel good about it, and I can sleep in my own skin. That's huge to me.
Yeah. I thought that was very good. That was one of my favorite chapters too. I really did like that. So tell us a little bit about what chapter 12 is about, PPP.
PPP. So I came out before COVID, because now that COVID's come and gone, and hopefully will stay away. PPP was personal protection products or something like that. The masks and the gloves and all that.
Yeah.
But when I was in law school, I took a lit skills class, and we did a mock trial, and we had 3 retired or current judges that were our judges, and they acted for it. And we had this little scenario about a guy and shooting someone else, and he was picking up his ice cream from the store. And we go through this whole thing, and I'm sitting with my partner at the time. His name was Brian, and me, Brian, and my wife, Tova, who was one of my witnesses for the trial. We were sitting there, we were coming up with just a theme. And we finally got to plan, prepare, and perform. So we called it PPP. And it was, how do you plan for things? And I start using that with my life. And you could do it with anything. Let's just say a vacation, right? You plan a vacation, right? You prepare for the vacation, and then you perform by going on vacation. And you could do that with anything. A test. I'm planning for this test. I'm preparing for the test. I perform on the test, and I knock it out of the park. And that's what it is. And that's how I live my life. Everything with me is not just a knee-jerk reaction or a quick, let's do it. It's positive and a negative, right? I over-prepare for everything, and I overthink everything. But for me, it's a good thing. So we plan, we prepare, and we perform. And if you think about that in anything in life, it applies.
Absolutely. I heard that. I thought, bingo, that is perfect. And so I think about that too now when I do things. So that's why I said I really do think that this book is for more than just individuals that are in the legal field, because I think they definitely can help. And I don't want to tell the whole book, because I want people to buy it.
My favorite page of the whole book is in that chapter 12.
Oh, really?
And it's this.
Oh,
blank page for gum. Okay, so I get on planes, and if you read the book, you'll see I get on planes a lot. I did a lot of traveling for lacrosse and sports and work, and for a family situation that I explain in the book. And I was always, my wife would always send me with, a container of gum, and I'd pop the gum in, put my earbuds in, go up, no problem with my ears. But once we're in the air, I want to get rid of that gum. I had nowhere to put it. I wouldn't stick it in a magazine. I wouldn't put it in the seat back pocket. I wouldn't do whatever. So I'm always ripping out a page. So that's what this book has. It has a blank page for gum. So you're sitting there and you're chewing. It's like, oh, I want to get rid of it. All right, turn to page 81 and you can rip a piece out, put your gum in it, and throw it in the garbage.
That shows your sense of humor.
That shows me. And unfortunately, on the audio version, I think I probably said blank page for gum, but it may not have made sense. And that's what it is. There's a blank page for gum.
Oh, funny. No, I don't think I got that either. Yeah. But I don't want to tell the whole audience about all of the book because we want them to buy the book.
Yeah.
It really is important to buy the book. It's a great gift to be able to give someone. I think especially kids that are in college, going to school, they can start understanding that, and they can apply the PPP to themselves. And I think that certainly would help. But I really did like the book. I thought it was very educational. It was fun. Your humor comes out in it, which is good. Tell a little bit about your life, your family and all of that, which was really great. So it made it very personable. So when you're listening to it, you get to know you, the author, which I thought was really enlightening. So yeah, I think it's a super good book. So you got my seal of approval on it.
Yes. And again, I write like I speak, which sometimes for court pleadings and court documents, that's not the best thing in the world. And it truly depends on knowing who you're writing to. If I'm writing to an opposing counsel, I can do that. If I'm writing to a federal judge in Texas where they're a little bit more conservative than, some other places, I probably would not throw some humor in there. I would probably just stick to the facts and just go with it. When I prepare mediation statements, depending on the mediator, if it's a retired judge or a magistrate judge, straight facts. When it's to somebody who I know, and I think I mentioned it in the book, I'll throw stories in there, like, hey, this is right out of a Netflix series. This is right out of this, and grab their attention. And I think that's usually a good thing. Sales, marketing, law, whatever it is. If you got to grab someone's attention and keep it.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think you say stay in your lane too. You talk about staying in your lane.
Yep. And one of the
we
things
don't do that sometimes as individuals, especially in business. We kind of deviate sometimes, and we need to stay in our lane.
Right.
Yeah.
Or look, and I do that with my fractional general counsel work. Like I use the example of a ticket, right? So if somebody got a ticket, I probably could go to the courthouse in Florida, go ahead, handle the ticket, but why? Right? It doesn't make sense for the client. It doesn't make sense for me. It doesn't make sense for anybody. So I work with a ticket, somebody who, all he does is tickets. Kevin Unger is his name. I'll plug him right here. He's the best. And you look him up on the Florida Bar website, you find him. And, I know that it's in good hands. So when the client calls and says, hey, is my ticket handled? Yes, we've gotten Kevin Unger. He's going to go to court. He's going to handle it. You pay your fee to him. This is it. He'll be there. He'll give you status. He'll give you update. And it's a check for me. The client can always ask me questions and we go there. So I stayed within my lane instead of, oh yeah, sure, I'll handle it. I'll go to court. And then some sort of mishap.
Yeah, I think that was very good. There was a lot of stuff in this book. I loved how you talked about, really making time for yourself, book time with you called it in one chapter. We don't do that. I thought that was very, very important. I don't want to give all the book away. So
it's good. And look, I mean, I talk about, make yourself appointment times. I'm guilty of still not doing that. And my book's out. It was finished a year ago. It's out 10 months now, 10 and a half months. I still don't do that. I have to talk with my wife about a couple of things for, taxes and financial aid for schools and all this and all that. So I sent her a calendar invite for tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. And so we're going to do it. And I blocked it off because if we don't give ourselves the same respect that we give our clients in the outside world, then we'll always be second fiddle to everybody else. And I get it, right? I've had to cancel plenty of things because a lady or a gentleman in a black robe tells me I need to be somewhere at a certain time and all of that. I get it. But you need to make time for you too. And that's very lost on me, and I think very lost on the profession. That we can look. I worked last night till 11 o'clock at night. I just had work to do, but that will allow me to go to my daughter's football game on Friday where she's going to be cheering. Trade-offs, right? So so that time from 4 o'clock on Friday is booked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, I think, Jason, we all in business, we all tend to do that, right? We tend to put our heart and soul in because we love what we do. And so that's no different than individuals in the legal field. And so what's that old saying? You study, work hard, we play hard, or something like that.
Work hard, play hard, or work hard, play harder. That's what it is. Celebrate the highs. Move on from the lows. That's something I talk about. And it's funny because when I first started practicing law, I remember I had a phenomenal mentor. His name was David Mancuda. And I had a lot of phenomenal mentors. So if you're a mentor of mine and you're listening and I didn't mention you by name, there are plenty of you out there. But David Mancuda, I used to very infrequently go in on a Saturday. And every Saturday, David was there. And David's name was on the door. And I get it now, right? It's your business. It's your livelihood. It's your name. It's your reputation. You're going to give it your all. Right. And it didn't dawn on me that, why is David there on a Saturday? Well, if there's a Saturday, I'm working. If there's a Sunday, I'm probably working. I'm responding to emails. So that's one thing you need to keep in mind. You can practice law and be an attorney and be successful and limit your time, right? 100%. But you need to make sure that you define what successful is, because there's a good chance you're probably not going to make millions of dollars working 8 to 2, 4 days a week, right? You're probably going to have to work on the weekends. You're probably going to have to do this. Now, look, you build a company, you sell it, you get bought out. Sure. But if you want to go into something and you find success, meaning that your day ends at 5, you could be at the gym at 5:30. You can have a nice dinner with your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your kids, whatever. And then you can go on a run. You could sleep in a little bit, and money isn't as important to you. Well, guess what? That's success. And again, you be you, right? Don't let someone else's success define what success is for you.
Yeah, great advice. Great advice. And so maybe they'll make this book something that they have to give all law students, because I think it would be a great gift to give them for sure. Well, we're going to take a quick break, Jason. So when we come back, I want everyone to be able to, know a little bit more about you, maybe about your show that you do. We could talk a little bit about that too. But before we do that, I want to make sure you guys have the name of the book. It's Shit They Never Taught You in Law School. And the author is Jason Weiss Esq. You can find it right on Amazon. I bought it. You can do the Audible, and it's great. I mean, I really did enjoy listening to it. So I thought it was great. If you want to send Jason an email, just send it to jason@jswlawyer.com, or askjasonweiss.com is one of his websites, or jswlawyer.com. So you can definitely get a hold of him if you want to do that. But yeah, we love this book. So we want you to run out, get it, and share it with everyone that you think that would help. And I think anybody that's in business definitely could use this book. So I think it's a wonderful book. So we will be right back. You guys are listening to Going Solo Goodreads Author's Corner, Meet the Author, with our wonderful author here today, Jason Weiss. And we want to thank Jason for being on the show. So we'll be right back. Well, welcome back to Going Solo Goodreads Author's Corner, Meet the Author. I am your host here today, Cece Shatz. We are on the newstreamingnetwork.com. We're home of the Going Bold and Going Solo and WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We are talking with Jason Weiss regarding his wonderful book out. It's called Shit They Never Taught You in Law School. And let me tell you, you guys, you can use this in any kind of business, any kind of form of life, because he really talks about things that you can, really start to understand, like, what is success to you. We talked about that in the beginning of the show. And I think that's really something that I think if we're going to go into any kind of business, we need to really understand what is success to us. It's not always just the dollar that you make. Sometimes it's the opportunity that you can have, give your family, time you can spend with your family. And Jason certainly understands that. But he is a man of many hats, because not only is he a successful attorney himself and a wonderful best-selling author of The Shit Never Taught You in Law School, but he's also one of our wonderful hosts here and on a wonderful show called Ask Jason Weiss. So tell us a little bit about, why did you decide you wanted to be a show host here with us? Because you've been here for a while now, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been here for a while, and I love it. It's honestly something that I look forward to doing. It's Thursdays, or every other Thursday at noon Central, and I look forward to it. And it allows me to just be myself, speak with other people, get some insights, have a little bit of fun. And, I find it very, very relaxing for me, because I enjoy it. And that's part of what we're talking about, being successful, right? What is successful to you? Could I find another hour and bill a client and make another $450? Sure. But I really enjoy that hour of getting on the show and chatting with people and talking about things and just being myself. So to me, that's worth it. So to me, that's a success. And when I have people say, hey, I've seen your show, I'd love to come on, that is a huge win for me. Because that means that people are listening. They're enjoying the show. And not to steal from Seinfeld, but I really call it a show about nothing. And I don't mean that disrespectfully to myself. I mean that as there's no agenda, right? I have the guests come on and we talk about whatever you want to talk about. You want to talk about my book. You want to talk about your book. You want to talk about your family, your friends, your business. Yes, we weave law into it. And yes, I start every show by putting a disclaimer out there, like, this is not legal advice and you haven't hired me and there's no attorney-client privilege. But you just get to see and hear about things that you never thought about. AI, right? That's great new stuff. But I read an article today, and admittedly I didn't finish, but it's talking about how each state is going to regulate AI and how you need to give disclaimers about, we're using AI, we're enhancing our technology with AI. So everything in life just comes back to legal. We could talk about whatever you want. We could talk about I had a guest who books cruises, right? And that's what he does. Well, there's legal implications to that, right? I needed to postpone a cruise because my daughter got sick, and we took out the insurance. Best decision I ever made. I had an attorney on who we were talking about music, talking about intellectual property, who owns the rights to it, who can stream the music. So anything in life, you can gather law into it. And that's what the show is about. So the next episode is going to be me and another coach. We're going to talk about coaching, and we both help lawyers with coaching. And that's what it's all about. So it's just, I enjoy it. I really enjoy the show. I get a lot out of it. And that's part of booking me time. I know every other Thursday I've got me time.
Yeah, I really enjoy your show too. Especially when you started bringing on a bunch of different attorneys talking about the different types of law, which I was not familiar with myself. And then you also bring in their personal, information, we're knowing not only about the law themselves, but how they started, why they decided to go in. We had one guy on one time that he was going into one type of area, and then he switched and ended up going into something totally different. And how many times have we heard that, haven't experienced that in our lives, where we walk down a particular path and then we realize, we really like something better, and we have to be brave enough to make that move into something else. And so I really like that, and understanding them personally. You bring on the flavor of who they are, what they do, their families, things like that. And then one of my very favorite things that you do is you talk about what's your favorite movie.
I gotta mix it up to just show and show. Look, if what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite book? What are you watching on Netflix? It's to show that there's things out there. And look, one of the big things that I just want to get across to anybody and everybody, if you read my book, if you don't read my book, you watch the show, you don't watch the show, it's never too late, right? It's never too late. That's all I'm going to say. You could be practicing law like me, 24 years in, and you could say, you know what? I don't like this area of the law anymore. Okay. Transition. Do something different. Teach, speak, be a guest, whatever it is. You could be 25 years in as a business owner, and you could say, I don't want to do this anymore. Sell your business, right? Get bought out, merge with someone else. You're never stuck. And even if you are like many of the attorneys out there now that are coming out of law school, bleeding in debt, you can still make those changes. There are ways. Find something you're passionate about and do it. It could be in your spare time. It could be as your side hustle. It could be as your main job. Now, look, I'm not telling you if you're making $500,000 a year at a big firm to quit, and then you can't pay your rent in your New York City thing, and to go work at a convenience store because that's your dream, right? Okay, but what's wrong with, if you want to go work at a convenience store, own a store, or own a piece of property, what's wrong with doing that on a Saturday? Go check it out. I tell people this all the time. Before you get married, during your engagement, really get to know that person. Move in with them. See if they squeeze the toothpaste from the middle and that irks you, that's not going to be good. You get to see. It's, you're going for a test drive and you have the option to buy it and you don't have to. And that's, to me, that's what I learned from writing the book. There's always time to change. I'm in my upper 40s. I'm changing on a daily basis, and I love it. I wish I was getting smaller and thinner on a daily basis. That's not happening. But I'm also eating right. I'm starting to exercise again, so I'm making that change because I want to see myself on a podcast like this and not be like, oh my God, I can't believe my face was so round, as opposed to, all right, I'm getting there. Looks better than the time before, and that's my goal.
Yeah. Well, I love the idea that, there's the only thing that's keeping you back from doing what you want to do is yourself, right? And so it is great to be able to open those doors and say, you know what, let me try something different. I mean, I'm doing this here today simply because somebody else thought I had it in me. And next thing you know, I'm doing it and I love it. And so it just grows and grows and grows. And doing what you love, and you had mentioned that in your book too, doing what you love is truly important, because you've got to get up every day, and do that same job over and over again. You better love what you're doing. If not, you need to get a different profession. You need to get in doing it. So yeah.
Correct. And look, we're all going to have good days at work. We're all going to have bad days at work, at home, personal, professional, social, right? It all happens. You can't say, oh my God, I lost an argument. I never want to practice law again. No. Oh my God, I lost the argument. What can I do different next time? What does this judge like? What did this judge not like? Maybe ask the client, if the client were in the courtroom, did the judge react a certain way? Maybe order the transcript, see what you did. These days it's on Zoom if you can get a copy of it. It's a constant learn. When you decide that, all right, I lost, I don't care, that's when you're in trouble. Yeah. So one of my problems is I seem to care more about cases and outcomes and things going down the right path than my clients often do. Oh my God, I lost. Okay, no problem. We'll go to trial. Wait, what do you mean? It's sometimes I'm overly critical of me. Let me change that. Most of the time, I'm overly critical of me.
Yeah, that makes it a little hard. But I think you're not different than a lot of people, because if they do love what they do and you want the best outcome, you're going to feel that. You are going to feel that. So yeah, I mean, I get it. And honestly, if I was going to hire an attorney, I'd want you. I'd want someone like you, that wants that positive outcome, and is going to work damn hard for it. So yeah, that's me as a layman, that's what I would want. So yeah, you got it going on. So don't beat yourself up. So it's okay, but no worries. But yeah, but I really did like your book. I thought it was
Thanks.
great. I wanted to interview you because of course, we've got this great show and people do love the authors and of course you're easy to love. So we love to have you on the show. We enjoy your shows and this book was really great. So I do want everyone out there to purchase the book, give it away as a present. I think it's great. Shit you never taught you in law school. Shit they never taught you in law school. If I can get it right. Shit
Hey.
they never taught you in law school, by author Jason Weiss. You can get it right on Amazon. Go on Amazon, very easy to find. And it's an easy listen to, an easy read. And yeah, I think it was great. So, are there any
And
last words you'd like to share with our audience?
if you are a student and email me from your school account saying you saw this show and you want to take me up on my offer, if you put a mailing address, I will send you a copy of my book, but you must be a student. If you want to purchase it, otherwise go on Amazon and get it. But if you're a student and you have a student email address, for the first 10 students that email me, I will send a free copy of the book, autographed as well.
Oh, that's sweet. Now, do they have to be a law student or just any student? Okay.
And any student, it's got to come from a .edu email address. So,
Okay.
and I'll make exceptions if you're a high school student. That's okay too. But I'm really looking for either college or law school or graduate school, or professors. Just drop a note saying you're a professor, and I'll send it to you as well. And I won't count it as the 10 that I'm giving away to students.
Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you. Now, just real quick, because we got a couple more minutes, I'd like for you to share both your daughter and your son's business because they're just outstanding businesses. So
Sure.
share.
So my son owns a company. It is called Long Pole Life. We're actually redoing the website right now because there was something having to do with Google changed something and it was coming up as a suspicious thing. So we're working on it. But it's Long Pole Life. And he also has a 501c3 charity called Long Pole, the number 4 Life. And we're raising awareness for head injuries and chest injuries and heart injuries for lacrosse players specifically. Mm-hmm. So you could check that out at longpole4life.com and longpolelife.com. Hopefully by the time this airs, we will have it fixed, but we're working on it. If it says it's suspicious, we know about it. We're working on it. My daughter, she is the most creative person I've ever met. And when she heard that my son was doing a site, she wanted her own. And she's like, I want my own site. MLW. Those are my initials. I'm like, I get it. And your grandmother and your aunts and your cousins, your uncles and your parents will all buy your stuff because it has your name on it. But what's MLW? She's like, Dad, it's my lazywear. I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. So she has one. It's called mylazywear.com. And she helped with the graphic designer. She helped with everything getting out there. She was actually selling art on there and doing things and things she made. And it's just cozy things that you could just lounge around and be lazy. It's socks and sweatshirts and hoodies. So she's doing that as well. And so those are my kids, 2 side hustles is what I want to call them. And we're just passionate about, each of our sports, each other, and just helping out. So, check out mylazywear.com or longpole4life.com. Make a donation, buy something you like, contact us. And of course, don't forget my book.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so don't forget that. So shit they never taught you in law school. And so definitely run out to Amazon and get the book. But Yeah, you're your family's awesome. It's just a pleasure to have you not only on this platform, but also to know you. So thank you so much. I do
The
appreciate it.
feeling is mutual, Cece.
Yeah, so we
You are
love it.
amazing, and I think the reason why I love doing the show so much is I get to see you most of the time before the show. So it's great. And just thank you for the opportunities that you've given me over the years.
Wow, it's great to have you. So now what make sure everyone knows the name of the book is Shit They Never Taught You in Law School. You can get it on Amazon. If you have any questions about the show here today, if you want to email Jason to be able to get the free book if you're a student, definitely do that. Just to go to Jason at jswlawyer.com. I guess I can't talk today. So it's
Yeah.
Jason at jswlawyer.com.
Right. You can also email me at jason at askjasonweiss.com.
Good.
And I'll get both of them. And again, first 10 students to ask, I'll send out copies as long as I get a mailing address for you to send a physical book.
Yes, that'd be good. And again, if you're a high school student, don't hesitate because he's always there to inspire. So that is wonderful. So
and college and law school professors say you saw the show and you want a copy. I've sent them to a couple, and they've told me they've ordered more for their classes. So thank you.
That would be great. Yeah, I never thought about that, professors and stuff, to be able to have your book. That would be a great thing to do. So again, make sure you get the name of the title right. It's Shit They Never Taught You in Law School. And Jason Weiss Esquire is the author. And we want to thank you so much for being on Going Solo Goodreads Author's Corner. Meet the author. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Cece.
Okay, you guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. This is the new streamingnetwork.com, home of Going Bold and Going Solo. We want to thank you so much for joining us here today. I am Cece Shatz, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now, everyone.